and today I have a video to offer you for the new year to think about how to start over. This is great for when you're starting New Year's resolutions, doing goal planning, or just really want a clean slate for your path ahead at whatever point in your year or any point in your life where you want to clear the decks, start fresh, and change pre-existing behaviors and start to develop new and more positive habits. If you've been thinking a lot in the past few weeks about things that you want to shift in your life, areas where you feel kind of blocked or like you need to change direction, shift gears, and go down a different path in order to be a happier, more fulfilled, and more productive or successful self, then this video should help you to provide practical tips for how you can actually start over. What does it mean to start over? What kinds of changes can we start to make, and how can we make them in a way that is sustainable and will last you throughout the entire year? So of course, starting over is something that might be tied to the new year and making New Year's resolutions, but it's also something that I think many of us feel at different points in our lives, at different junctures, where we realize that our current way of doing things might not really be working for us, and we feel kind of stuck, or we don't feel like we're getting the energy that we want to be coming towards us in our life, and we're not getting the positive energy that we want to be attracting, or we're not succeeding in our goals, or we're not being as creative as we would like to be, or we're not surrounding ourselves with the kind of people that we want to be surrounded by. And sometimes we just need to find a way to reset, recalibrate, and get on a path that's going to lead us to a happier and more well-grounded self. I think that we all change and grow in who we are periodically depending on our own calendars and our own patterns in our life, and it might have to do with how old you are or what point in the career you're at, or maybe something to do with your astrological calendar, and just different points of maturity that we reach where we need to reassess what we're doing and start doing things differently in order to be the person that we want to be. But often there are a lot of pitfalls that we can run into when trying to start over. Some things that might trip us up when we're trying to start over and lead us astray from the new path that we're setting would be poor planning. So not really setting up a structure of changing our own habits and behaving in new and different ways and starting a new life path, so that we're just kind of going at it freehand and we don't have a clear map for ourselves and no way of stopping and reflecting on what we've achieved so far. And also unrealistic expectations of ourselves. So thinking that starting over means that you can become an entirely new person overnight or over the course of a year, and that you won't be yourself anymore and you'll be this new, better person that you've imagined up that you think you should be, when really it's the smaller, everyday things that we can do that can build up to helping us become a happier, truer, and more colorful version of ourselves. And also not approaching change from a place of self-love. So changing because we think that there's something wrong with ourselves, rather than thinking that your change and growth and development can be something where you amplify parts of your character and your personality that you love and all of your skill sets that you want to start tapping into, and not just toning things down, but raising parts of ourselves up. So how can we actually start over? How do you start starting over? I'm going to go through a range of tips to get you off the ground running and hopefully have a strong foundation so that you can create that sustained change that you want in order to really become more fulfilled with your life choices and the way that you're going about all of your goals, hobbies, dreams, and everything that you want to be in the year ahead. The place that I like to start when starting over is doing a reverse brainstorm. So we're at a point where you're thinking things like, I really want to do things differently, I want to go backwards and do something over again, or I don't like where I'm at right now. So stop and reflect in whatever way is useful for you, whether it's journaling or talking to somebody or meditating on it, and think about what brought you to the decision to start over. The idea is to work backwards from the initial feelings of wanting to do things differently and wanting a fresh start. How did we get here? Why do we want to be somewhere else? And start thinking through that in order to arrive at actual steps of how you can initiate that change. Building out of the reverse brainstorm is making actual practical steps for how you're going to start your lifestyle changes. Having a series of practical steps can get you started and make sure that you have somewhere to go rather than just the idea of that end goal again. So what are the things that you can do from day one, and how can those things build up over the weeks to come? When you're thinking about practical steps for really making a fresh start, we want to think big and bold and broad and really go for what's going to inspire us and what the dreams are that we really have that we think might be unattainable without having a really major shift in our lifestyle, and start to tackle that in a way that can be accessible and last for a long period of time and no longer feel like it's something that's far off in the distance and unattainable. But I think that one of the best ways to do that is to think about several big grand changes along with a few daily lifestyle changes that have to do with your everyday schedule and habits, and kind of merge those together. Couple major goals like being more productive or spending more time being creative, with smaller daily lifestyle goals like changing your diet or seeing friends more often. Doing this promotes broader sustained possibility for change rather than just creating one goal that you can just succeed or fail at. And if you don't succeed at it, you failed at your fresh start. But if you have multiple layers of large goals and smaller daily goals, then you can always be working towards that fresh start. So I recommend starting with 3 major goals and then 3 daily goals. As you're brainstorming and mapping out the changes that you think you might want to start making, be sure to notice which ones are coming from other people and other influences on your life, and which ones are actually coming from you and your own desires and hopes, and try to focus on the latter. And finally, my last tip is to look for opportunities to add and enhance experiences in your life rather than taking things away. So instead of restricting your behaviors and trying to tone down aspects of your personality, think about things that you can bring into your life that can help shift and mold and shape who you are and the things that you do every day in order to broaden your horizons, instead of telling yourself that you need to be less or more toned down or different in a way that limits you. As you embark on your journey of growth and new opportunities, really try to be your own cheerleader. So at every step, really try to empower yourself and challenge negative self-talk. Every day, be open to opportunities to surprise yourself, because change is not something that we can plan out in every way. We can set a clear path for ourselves and we can put resources in place to help support ourselves, but let yourself be surprised and try new things and be kind and forgiving of yourself as well. I hope that you enjoy these ideas for starting afresh and find them helpful in getting going on your new journey of change and exploration. And please give this video a thumbs up if you are setting New Year's resolutions and want to create positive changes in your own life this year. And don't forget to subscribe and click the bell for notifications for new videos every week. See you next week. Bye.